today's episode. I'm so excited you are here. I have a special treat for you today. I want to do the highlights, the most popular episodes for 2024. And the reason why I want to do this is because we've had such an amazing year of different deep dives into different topics like ancestral healing, the awakening process, and then we've had some really amazing guests like numerologist guests and other special guests that I'm really excited to highlight and give you taste tests of different experiences from our most profound episodes from 2024. Now, with that being said, some of these episodes do have visualization, meditations, healings in them. So if you want to experience the full healing, you can visit that particular episode. We will have every single episode in the show notes and the description, so you can click on the episode and check out the healing if you are guided to. If you're guided to go deeper, I definitely recommend revisiting the episode. It does take us more than one time to hear something, for something to deeply set in and for us to learn and to experience from it. So if there are episodes you've already listened to or watched, rewatch them. Whatever resonates now with you will take you deeper into that particular topic or material or conversation. So without further ado, let's jump into these special segments and popular moments from 2024. Your blood lineage is so important. It dictates some of the patterns, the habits, the thoughts, the actions that you take, knowingly or unknowingly. Have you ever stopped and been like, I sound like my mother right now, or ooh, that was like something like my father used to do. It doesn't even matter if you had traditional parents or you had guardians growing up. We have the tendency to be like our caretakers, and we also have the tendency to be like our blood relatives, even when we've never met them before. And it's absolutely insane how that works. The ancestors want to break patterns. And the ancestors, before I did this healing at the expo, I opened up the Akashic Records and I said, who wants to come forward to support? Who wants to heal today? Who wants to experience healing? And there was thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of ancestors that were raising their hand like me. I want to come. I want to help. I want to be the change that we are looking for in our lineage. And again, remember, it doesn't matter if you've ever met any of these ancestors. It doesn't matter if they're soul family or blood related. They want to support you in healing because there are patterns and habits that you have carried forward into this lifetime and are currently working through that they want to support you in healing. The ancestors know that you are there, and we're going to put this beautiful cloak around you and the ancestors that want to talk to you. And this just creates another level of protection. The ancestors is going to hold their hand, or whatever it is that their hand is, because they might be more of a galactic being, and they're going to place their hand on your heart. And they're going to say, I see you. I'm so happy you're here. There's so many things I want to share with you. We've been waiting for you. We have been waiting for you. And then they're going to take you to a sacred space for you to commune, to connect. And I want you to feel the energy of the ancestors. And when you go to this sacred space, more ancestors may be there or they may not be. And
then when you get to that sacred space, you can keep that invisible cloak on or off. No matter what, they can connect with you. It just depends on your safety feeling. You have to feel safe. It's so important for you to feel safe. And then the ancestor is going to share what they want to share with you, because there's so much information they want to share with you. And no matter what today, even if you're not receiving it right here, right now, it's being received across all space and time, portals and dimensions, seen, unseen, known, unknown. And we're going to heal something in the bloodlines. And they're going to share some information with you. There's going to be some moments of silence while they're sharing. They might be downloading, so no words are exchanged. You might be seeing, sensing, feeling, imagining, hearing, knowing. So go ahead and allow the ancestors to share.
When we use light language, the light language goes past the conscious mind to the subconscious mind into the higher self, and informs the higher self and informs the subconscious mind to let go of the trance, to let go of whatever it is that it is being influenced by or being held onto, or whatever pattern is keeping you from doing whatever it is that you want to do. Take a nice deep breath in and a cleansing breath out, and I want you to sense, feel, see, or imagine creation's energy, the great I am energy, and Gaia's energy is swirling all around you. And it's forming a sacred shape. This shape could be a sacred geometry shape. Whatever shape it is, it's beautiful, it's encapsulating, it's full of space, it's full of love, and you are safe. You're very, very, very safe. And I want you to breathe, and as you breathe in this sacred shape, it's going to lift you up out of your heart space and move you across all space and time, portals and dimensions, seen, unseen, known, unknown, and you're going to land in a sacred space, a space that will assist you in having a new beginning, a fresh start. And when you land, this beautiful sacred shape will open up, and you will be standing on a golden pathway that is adorned with beautiful light codes, sacred geometry shapes that are going to assist you in letting go of what's no longer serving you, letting go of what is no longer necessary for you to hold on to, letting go of negative thoughts, letting go of thoughts that are preventing you from reaching your goals, from having a fresh start. And all you have to do is start to walk along the path, to start this letting go process, this shedding of these layers, this shedding of these thoughts, this shedding of these patterns. And each and every step you take, you are letting go. A nice deep breath in, cleansing breath out. The next symbol that you're going to step upon, this is going to shift your frequency into the vibrational frequency in which you will desire to co-create this desire. And I'm going to say that slightly different. This code is assisting in bringing in your frequency, attuning your frequency to be a vibrational match to your desire. You get a choice on how you choose to react. Sometimes people are going to do things to you where you want to take revenge. Like, it's a very normal response. I know I had an ex of mine where we would just go back and forth being petty, where you do something to me, I do something back. You do something to me, I do something back. And we would just go back and forth in this dance of pettiness, just ultimately caused us not to trust each other, because there was no going back when you continue to create and behave in that particular way. I recently just had a situation happen where I was extremely hurt by someone's choices. And my thoughts, after I processed my anger and my disappointment, my thoughts were like, you know what? If they're going to treat me like this, here's what I could do. And of course, I thought about what are those repercussions? What's the repercussions in those actions? Because there's always going to be a cause and effect in the actions you choose to take. And sitting with it, it's like, I would be hurt and other people would be hurt that didn't cause any of this to happen. And is it worth it? Absolutely not. It's not worth it. Oftentimes, when we are hurt, there's something else behind that hurt that we have not identified, and those are feelings. I was venting to a friend of mine about this situation that I experienced. And when I was venting, I expressed that I was disappointed. I expressed that I was angry. I expressed that I could do X, Y, Z, but this would actually cause more harm. And this particular friend replied back and said, "It sounds like you're really sad." And it did not even occur to me that I was sad, because I was so in my anger and I was so in my disappointment that I overlooked the sadness that I was experiencing. And this is why it's awesome to have someone that you trust, that you can vent to, have a sounding board, be able to talk and express yourself in a way that allows you to be seen and heard without being judged. I highly recommend this, like very much so. Doesn't matter where you're at on your spiritual path, having someone that is going to have your back and going to take a beautiful step back and look at the whole picture for you is a beautiful thing. And so when this friend said this to me, I was like, yeah, I am. I'm feeling very, very, very sad. And I could see my inner child was so disappointed. It's like someone licked the red off of her lollipop. She was so sad because my expectation, my inner child's expectations weren't met. And when our expectations aren't met, it's really disappointing. It's super sad. And it is an opportunity when that happens for us to feel those feelings, even if we don't want to, because it's actually really healthy. If I wasn't in a state of grounding, being in my body, also taking the opportunity to take a higher perspective, and higher doesn't mean better, it just means that I'm taking a bird's eye view. I'm looking at more perspectives than just the one that I am witnessing or experiencing in that particular moment. And when we give ourselves the opportunity to take a bird's eye perspective, it allows us to see things we might be blinded to. For example, maybe you're with a coworker and that coworker is supposed to be working on a project, and that project they're falling behind on. They're not talking about things. You can assume that that person's being lazy. They're not holding up their weight. And you can berate them. You can get mad at them. You can yell at them. You can say all these nasty things to this coworker, saying like, "You're not holding up your end, da 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 da." You know, or you could take a step back and go, I wonder what's going on in their life. I wonder if there's something that's causing them to not be as involved as they normally are. And hey, why don't I ask what's going on? And then maybe you find out their dog died, or they've been sick, or they just got some really bad news. You never know what's going on in someone else's life and why they're choosing to behave or to react or not do the things that they're supposed to be doing, because they might be going through something. And this is what I call the lens of love, being able to take an opportunity in any given situation and view things through the lens of love gives you the opportunity to evolve, gives you the opportunity to see through their lens, to take a step back and be in their shoes, or have the opportunity to consider other things that might be going on that might be impacting that particular person. We are here to feel things. We are here to experience all the array of the emotions. And when we do it in a healthy way, this is where growth comes. I also want to just say this. If you're like, you know what? That sounds great, but now I'm feeling really bad because I've chose to do XYZ. I've chose to be angry and be petty or whatever. Forgive yourself, because that's part of the experience. I know I have done some really petty things in the past, and it might have made me feel good at that particular moment, but at the end of the day, was it worth it? And most of the time it wasn't. And we have all made mistakes. It's how you choose to move forward from those mistakes. Forgiveness is a path, one aspect of our enlightenment, of our soul's evolution. And I'm not talking about forgiving others. I'm talking about forgiving yourself as well. Yes, we can forgive others, and that is really important, but it's not to give them forgiveness. It's to give yourself permission to let go of the feelings that have been grossly pushed down to the point where they are causing dis-ease within the body. And dis-ease within the body can show up in so many different ways. It can show up through illness. It can show up through emotional pain. It can show up through distraction or scatteredness. It can show up through physical ailments as well. The thing is it's not worth harming yourself over. It really, really isn't. I know that I have been through a lot in my life, and I have had a lot of emotional turbulence in my life, and that emotional and psychological abuse that I have experienced, and physical, mental, emotional, sexual, all of that plays into who I am today, plays into the perceptions that I have, plays into my trauma response. And I'm not in the right all the time. No one is in the right all the time. As much as we like to believe that we are in the right all the time, we're not. And that's why taking a step back, looking at it through a bird's eye view, having spiritual tools in your toolbox allows you to experience life in a different way and gives you permission to heal and to feel and to process and to integrate, so that you can live the best life you're meant to live without all the baggage. The baggage gets heavy. And when you start processing the baggage, it gets lighter and lighter. And then sometimes an old thing comes back for you to look at, and then it feels heavy. And this is just the cycle. And it's perfect. It's beautiful. We're not meant to be on cloud 9 all the time. And I think that the more that we understand that, the easier it gets to process emotions in a healthy way.
Hey friend, I have a special announcement. We are going to be doing our DNA Ancient Wisdom Masterclass series. It's absolutely free, and I want you to join me. We're going to talk about all things DNA, why it's important to activate your DNA, and we're going to do some really cool free healings. If you'd like to join us, you can click the link in the show notes, the show description, or you can go to theamyrobeson.com/DNA. I can't wait to see you in the series. And if you can't join us live, you can always catch the replay. Let's jump back into the episode.
Can you tell everybody what numerology is and why it's so important to have it in their life?
Yes, numerology itself, it's a science of numbers. It's 2,500 years old. And Pythagoras is the system that I use because there's more than one. But the belief is that everything in this universe has vibration, and it's especially true about people. So Pythagoras attached traits to the basic numbers 1 through 9. 1 is the beginning. It's like working on the self, and 9 is the number of selflessness. So we all fall into something here, 1 through 9, and that's my specialty. Who are you by the numbers?
I love that. And what numerology number are you?
Double 3.
You're a double
Born on
three.
a 3-day, 3-life path. Here to motivate and uplift others. Natural comedian. I was a stand-up comedian, a headliner, but I always use numerology as a part of it because a 3 is here to communicate. They are here to uplift and motivate people. So being funny, sure, I can make you happy for a moment, but I'd rather make you happy for a lifetime. And that's what I have done for well over 25 years. It's been amazing. You have a lot of gratitude, Amy. That's something you strive for, correct?
Yeah, I do. It's necessary.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good.
So here's another one. With that 3 attitude, that is natural counselors. So helping others is not hard for you to do. You know, when someone's troubled, I almost feel like you're 7 steps back to observe them, and then the 3 is able to deliver and communicate with them what's going on.
How important is it to figure out what your pet's name or your child's name or your business name is before you officially name something?
It's everything. Like I do it all the time. I literally, I have a lot of celebrity clients, and I've literally named some famous couples their baby by the numbers to make sure the baby's name was compatible to both of them. And yeah, so it really matters what you name your child, but also taking on your partner's name. My husband is the love of my life. We've been together 21 years. I've never, ever loved someone more than him outside my family, my mom and dad, and there's a few sisters I'm madly in love with, but outside the family, no matter what Charlie does, if I was a cartoon character, Amy, I'd have hearts above my head. When he's just, no, it's ridiculous, but that's because he's such a good man. So going to that idea, I didn't take his last name. His last name's Youngblood. I didn't take it because it wouldn't have been good for us as a couple. It would have brought challenges in we didn't need. So I stayed, I'm Glynis McCann's. He's Charlie Youngblood.
And he understood that and
please, are you going to marry the numbers lady and not understand that?
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, one of the reasons he won me over when he first found out about me, because I said, I did it on a dating site. Numerologist looking for a man who's really got my number. And I said, give me your birthday. Well, he bought my book this before we met. He bought it for his daughters, Christine and Nicole, and they loved it. They loved the numerology. So that was already a positive. Yeah. So no, he knew who he was.
He did research on you beforehand.
Well, he literally, he got my name, and I had already told him what I was, and then he found the book and he got it for the kids.
That's cool. Very, very neat. Tell me about your journey with your ego and how that has influenced your work and your own relationship with yourself.
I began having spiritual experiences when I was a very young child, around 8 years old, and they really ramped up in my early 20s. And I learned everything just from my experiences with the universe. And when I started to bring my work to the world, and I was working as an intuitive healer, and I, thought I was going to meet all my psychic superhero friends. And I just learned what I learned from the universe. I had never really studied any other path or knew any other approach. And when I started talking to other people in the field, I got really confused. And the way I was taught and the way things were perceived or approached seemed really, really different. Everything that I had been taught always followed the standard of it's wisdom that is always equally rooted in love. One of the ways I describe it for many years is if it's not how you would treat a child in pain, it shouldn't be the way you talk to yourself. And so I would notice a lot of people in the name of healing would treat themselves in a very judgmental way. And a lot of spirituality to me came across in a very judgmental tone where it seemed like there was a version of wisdom that seemed more wise than love. And that's never been my experience with the universe. And so I began to realize, I thought about it going, gosh, either I'm onto something or I'm wildly crazy and I have no business in this field whatsoever. But it's interesting how my journey with the universe kind of echoed my upbringing, where instead of having parents that squashed my enthusiasm or tried to dull down my energy, they just helped me find outlets for it. So from a young age, I've been a performer. Um, and the ego can be a performer in your life and what you do to gain
Yes.
popularity and gain approval. But I was legitimately a performer on stage. I was an actor and I was in a singing and dancing group growing up. And so I always had the outlet of performing arts. And I think that as a performer, it gave me the opportunity to see that some of the energy of my ego could ground if it had outlets of expression, like if I had artistic expression as a writer, as a performer. And so then when I went through awakening and was having direct conversations with the universe, there never, in my experience, even before I started having intuitions, there was never an experience of my ego is the problem. It's what's in the way. My experience was always just life is hard and I feel the way I feel and I really don't know why. And as I came into, various awakenings and started channeling universal wisdom, I started learning about, wow, all of this was a setup for a graduation to a higher level of consciousness. The hardship of my life was the construction and the flaking away of a cocoon, the dissolving of a caterpillar, the birth of a butterfly. But nowhere in that was there ever a sense in myself or from my guidance that you must get away from or ditch this thing called ego, that it was actually always a part of the process, just in
Yeah.
the same way the caterpillar is necessary for the butterfly to emerge. And so when I came into this field and I started talking to people that I thought were my peers, I really got confused and I didn't really understand. Um, it seemed like we were all talking a different language, which of course is wonderful because everyone resonates with what they resonate with. But it just struck me that there were approaches that weren't always aligned with love. And my experience has always been that every piece of wisdom, every experience I've had has always come with this very specific feeling of heavenly love, which is how I always knew to trust it. And so as I began teaching and developing the way I work with people, it always came with this sense of, and just like in my upbringing, I could look at many people and say, it's not really the ego that's the issue. It's the lack of outlet they have for the energy that's within them. And as all of us find outlets for our creativity, for our intuition, for our desire to serve, we really start grounding and becoming a different version of ourselves, not because we're going to get rid of a certain part, but because that part has been given an opportunity, a platform, or a way to express itself in our life. And I think that's, in today's day and age, such a fundamental truth that can help us find our way back to a level of connection where wisdom and love can be one and the same.
Go ahead and tell everybody what your documentary is called again.
It's called Healed by Love.
What made you decide to make the documentary?
I think it was because it's during a time in my career where I feel like I'm really in a transition. And, I've been working for so many years with people in various levels of their healing journeys, awakening and transformation and integration, which I still do. But a big part of my career and where it's transitioning, especially the work I'm doing with my now wife, Joy, is we both really have this desire of course, still doing the traditional healing work we've always done, but we want to have special programs. We want to be able to help train and foster the new generation of healers. And what we've come to realize is that most people, in fact, all people that are going through a healing crisis are being initiated as healers, or their inner healer is being initiated. Not
Yes.
everyone's gonna work as a healer and open up a shop and say, Macon Healing Store or whatever. But the understanding is, when you are a healer, it means you are one who has healed, which means you've been initiated. And whether you're a florist, a nanny, a student, a professor, a corporate executive, or a holistic practitioner of any modality, you become a open door through which the universe can pour high vibrational energy through your body and into the world. So really the healing journey is where we transform from being a closed window to an open doorway to allow the light of spirit to enter our world. So if you spend all day being a florist, you are sharing high vibrational energy with all the plants that people buy and take home, or that you pass along to all your customers, or if you're serving food at a restaurant, or if you're a barista. The understanding is what role you play is just part of a play, like a performance that puts you in the same space of the people you're here to pass along high vibrational energy to. And as we go through our healing crisis, as we're initiated as healers, no matter what we're doing with our life, we are using that as a way of passing along this energy of unity consciousness to help our world awaken. And so one of the interesting things about the documentary is when I'm working with people, I'm actually working with them in a very different way, where instead of it just being, hey, I'm this practitioner and I'm here to help you heal, I'm actually speaking to each person in the documentary as someone who's being initiated or awakening their inner healer. So I'm a healer helping other healers across the threshold into full initiation. So no matter what we choose to do with our lives, it can be a platform to bring this new energy to the planet for everyone's awakening, for everyone's healing, for everyone's salvation, for everyone's sovereignty. And so at a time where I felt like it was really important for me not just to be this well-known healer on this, platform and all that kind of stuff, it's really a chance for us to lift everyone up and for us all to be healers who are walking each other home, as the famous phrase is, and to really use my abilities to help other healers learn what it means to get to the other side of their healing journey. And so I felt like it just felt like such a fresh perspective. It felt like something great to really capture in this film. And so it's really just the beginning of what I truly believe is going to be the new language and a new approach for all of us in this new earth that's awakening.
You are the creator of your reality. You are the beacon that gets to illuminate your path. And yes, you get support from creation. You get support from God, whatever sacred title you give that sacred being, and from your guides. I think that defining your spirituality and understanding what it is supports you in having a more spiritual life. It supports you in living a spiritual existence, because you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And when you have these human experiences, that can be tough, that can be challenging, that can be amazing and blissful. It supports you on staying on your path to evolve, to have your many purposes here in this timeline, in this lifetime, so that your soul can accomplish what it wants to accomplish. Spirituality is unique to everyone. And when you define it, you get an opportunity to really anchor into your center, into your heart, and know that this is going to be your guiding path. You are also allowed to change your mind. Let me say that again. You are allowed to change your mind on your path and redirect your course at any time. So if there's something that you're doing now that does not resonate with you, you're allowed to change your mind. And I'll give you an example. I was taught very early on in my spiritual path that you are to be a vegetarian or vegan. I was a vegetarian. I was a vegetarian for a very, very, very long time. However, I got very, very sick from being a vegetarian. My bones felt like they were going to break. I felt so fragile. I felt so malnourished, but I didn't want to go against what I was taught. I also wanted to practice nonviolence, but my body was not okay with it because I have certain genes. I have certain autoimmune things. I have hypermobility, and my body was not okay with the lack of minerals and vitamins I was not getting because I was not eating any animal meat. With that being said, I'm not telling you not to be a vegan or a vegetarian if you are. I'm just sharing my example of what I had to change my mind on in my spiritual path because it wasn't right for me. After visiting many health practitioners and them telling me I had to start adding animal product back into my diet, I finally had to make peace with that decision. And I had to redirect this thought of what do I consider nonviolence if I am eating animal meat? And that was, they had to be ethically treated. They had to be grass-fed. They had to be pasteurized. And they had to have lived their best life to completion. And that made me feel better about it. And let me tell you, the second I ate bone broth, chicken bone broth for the first time in many, many years, I could feel life coming back into my body. And I have asked many times in my Akashic records, like, hey, can I be a vegetarian again? I always get the answer no, because of the type of human body that I have in this experience and that it is not conducive for my health. And so I had to make peace with that. And so you get to decide what's right and what's not right for you, what's true, what is not true for you. And you get to also not follow what you are taught if it doesn't resonate with you, because you are the ultimate creator in your life and you get to live your spiritual life how you define it. Usually when we have a strong desire to have something, to create something, to be something, it requires us letting go of certain illusions of our identity and stepping into a new frequency, a new paradigm of who we are. And that can feel really hard for the ego. That can also feel really hard for our inner child, because these two aspects of your being got you to this point and they're nervous. They're scared that if you let them go, if you let them be something different, that they don't know how to navigate that new chapter. And they're scared that they might make a mistake, or they're scared that they have to be something that they're not capable of being, or they're not worthy of being. Whatever the fear is, it's a very real fear on a cellular level, on a multidimensional level. And when you give yourself permission to take a step back and truly evaluate, why am I having failure to launch? And what part of my identity is scared to change? And how am I identifying? These questions will assist you in stepping out of the frequency that you're in and stepping into the frequency that is a match for the desire. Everything is a frequency problem. It truly, truly is. When it comes down to you attracting the things and embodying the things that you truly desire to have, it comes down to, are you a frequency match for that particular thing? And if you're not, can you get into a frequency match for that thing? And just because you can get into a frequency match for that thing doesn't mean it's in true alignment with your soul's path. When I wanted to start my business, it took me years to go, I'm going to do this. I have the courage to do this. I am going to do this. And eventually I did it. It took me 4 years instead of 2 to have the courage to get everything situated. I gave myself a deadline the last year where I was like, I'm done. Like, I am absolutely done. I have to do this. My soul is desiring to do this. And I recently told this to a friend that is starting her own business. And she's so scared because she's so scared to go off on her own because she's a 1099 contractor. And if she goes off on her own, she's responsible for all of her own income. However, I told her, I said, you're going to wish you did it sooner. Your identity does come down to that big question, who am I? And when you think about it, you're not your identity based on labels. So yes, you could be a mother, you could be a father, you could be a brother, you could be a sister, you could be a son, you could be a daughter, you could be all of those labels, right? But who are you on a core level? And what is your soul desiring to have? And what are you willing to do to make it happen? And how uncomfortable are you willing to get? If you are leaning towards something that you truly are not in alignment with, it is not who you truly are, you're going to be able to identify that much more quickly than if you're just kind of floating randomly in the ocean, not sure which way to take, which path to go. And this, your identity, as messed up as it sounds, your identity is always going to allow you to navigate life in a particular way. You get the opportunity to go, no, I'm not doing that anymore. No, I don't want that anymore. And then you have the opportunity then to choose different behaviors, different thoughts, different words, different deeds, and different actions that support who you truly are, who you truly want to become. And it is a lifetime practice. It's a lifetime opportunity, and you have the right to change your mind at any point along the path on who you are, because it's your reality. It's not my reality. It's not your friend's reality. It's not your parents' reality. It's not your caregiver's reality. It's not your spouse's reality. It's your reality. You shape your reality. You get to see through the lens that you see through. No one else can see through that lens but you. And you have the opportunity each and every day to go, I am going to be who I am and who I want to become, and I'm going to take action towards that very thing. And when you do, you are a force to be reckoned with, my friend. You are a force to be reckoned with, and you get to decide what that looks like on a consistent basis each and every moment of each and every day. You get to decide that. No one else can make you figure out who you are. No one else can make you see or perceive or feel the things that you feel or see or perceive. No one else, only you. All right, my friend, I hope you enjoyed these highlights from 2024. This is a part of our awakening. When we study, when we deep dive into topics and conversations that light up our soul, that get us curious, that assist us in aligning, that assist us in our awakening process, we are growing, we are evolving, we are empowering ourselves in such powerful ways that go beyond our wildest imagination. If you are interested in exploring any of these episodes in a deeper fashion, check out the show notes, check out the descriptions. If there are any episodes that you know that would serve one of your friends or a family member or a colleague, share it with them. Share it with them, subscribe. I'd love to see you. I'd love to hear from you. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year. Take care. Bye.